Brothers, sisters, what I have in store for this video is nothing fancy. No magical ritual, no spiritual discussion, no talk of religion or how humanity thinks, or where we're going as a people, or if there's a difference between the different cultures and what that difference is. Today, I just have some motivational thoughts for you. Now, I started out this week in a rut. It didn't start out like a good week. Now, most weeks, I have some level of depression throughout the week at one time or another. There are very rarely weeks where I just go the entire week without being depressed. Call it major depressive disorder, schizophrenia, whatever you want to call it. I've been diagnosed with both. But through my spiritual path, I have worked past the worst of it. Now it's just a residual feeling. At any rate, this week started out like any other, and I was in a rut. Perhaps worse than any other, in general. And I didn't know how to get myself out of it. I found that no matter what I told myself to motivate myself, I just felt like it was hot air coming out of my mouth. It didn't feel like it struck my heart to where it would pull me out of that rut of depression. I was just stuck, like a big wheel stuck in a hole, and the rest of the carriage can't turn, it can't go forward. It just has to use all its strength, the horses, to pull it out. And all the strength that pulled my wheel out, wasn't even anything that I did. It was a converging of realizations and forces that aided me. I started to feel particularly close to my spirits and gods. I started to feel close to the upraised energy of the spirits and gods that I follow. Those which fight tamas, downward pulling dark energy, and torpor, and that which thinks down is up and up is down. That feeling of depression is tamas, it's torpor. It's that pulling into the earth where you feel like you're going to go to the very center and burn up. But today, this is Saturday night, I feel strong. I feel sure of foot. Even though I started out today with tendinitis, and my tendinitis flares up sometimes. But as the day went on, I felt more and more sure. And as this week has gone on, I feel more and more sure. So, how do we create an environment around us to allow this strength to converge? In general, you want to surround yourself with ideas that bring you forward. You want to surround yourself with spiritual symbols that bring you forward, that bring you up. So, how you can motivate yourself, and these are just a few thoughts. What really touches your heart to its core? What symbols have the greatest meaning for you, even if they're not spiritual or religious? So maybe they're not even political. Maybe it's just something silly like a particular kind of smiley face or a particular kind of band that you are inspired by when certain songs come into your earpiece, if you're at work or on your radio, in your car, or wherever. Find out what it is about those symbols and those songs that allows you to come out of that rut. What is the cord that ties your happiness to reality? Find that cord and tug on it. Find those songs, find those ideas, find that verbiage within yourself that isn't described through your language, but your understanding of your language, your connection to your own symbolic language within that cannot be communicated to anyone else. We can influence ourselves by not giving ourselves internal speeches, but allowing the language of symbols we naturally cultivate as human beings within to become that constant drone in the background of whatever we're doing. We all have this feeling, these thoughts just behind thoughts that lead our conscious thoughts forward into certain degrees of reality within our minds, degrees of manifestation, of mood within ourselves. If we can learn to control that language that we naturally make, then we can control our mood. Because it is not the primal instincts that stir man to its highest calling. Our highest calling is only stirred by the deeper, intellectual, human emotional, and really the meaning of everything connection that we have manifested in order to create civilizations. Create your own internal civilization of symbolism, of personal understanding of your psychology. Motivate yourself by developing a philosophy of motivation that only you can understand, because it's not going to be in words. It's not going to be in what somebody else tells you. It's going to be in how you understand yourself and how you relate to yourself. Let this string of inspiring emotions that are silent start to be a constant subconscious effort to bring yourself to where you want to be in your life. For instance, when I look at the Ohm symbol, it isn't just, to me, for as far as English language goes, it looks like a 30. It looks like a 3 and an O. In English language equivalent, it looks like an O, an A, and an M just facing different directions, ironically, because this is way before English was created. In Hinduism, it is the understanding that is the vibration that is the fabric for everything that exists. But for me, and now this is impossible to describe, to communicate in a complete way to you because this is my own personal symbolic language. For me, it is my blood, how my blood vibrates, how my veins run this vibration throughout my body, and how my heart takes this in, and there's a gateway within the heart that absorbs that energy and creates a gateway to a greater source of that energy and allows that energy to burst forth after the key of that energy puts itself into the lock and opens it. So this whole description of Ohm for me is just a particular feeling that I can conjure up at any time. I don't have to say any of those words. I identify the feeling and bring forth the power. Identify those feelings in you. Create them. Engineer emotion, mood. Engineer stirring within yourself. And realize how you bring that forth through focusing on particular sequences of feelings and adding some words in there, adding some symbols in there, adding a little bit of extra strength and breathing exercise of breathing in deeply and focusing that energy to wherever in your body you feel that is the source of this Promethean personal language of feeling. Sometimes you might want to focus on a particular part of your spine and bring forth the energy from there. It's always the heart for me. But maybe it's a part of your spine. Maybe it's between your eyebrows. Maybe it's on the top of your head, the back of your head. Whenever I want to draw myself away from what's before me because it's kind of overwhelming, I draw myself to the back of the head. Usually where the ego lies, ironically. According to Hindus. But I feel like once I withdraw myself back, there is this absence of presence forward, so I can numb myself and go about what I need to do. Only in rare circumstances, because this is not an appropriate measure to take in all situations. You want to be engaged. You want to learn how to deal with engagement. But I've engineered the feeling of just drawing myself back, away from this everything. I don't use it very often, but when I need to use it, it solves some pain for me. It's not perfect. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about engineering emotion and engineering ideology in a way that it becomes an emotional set of switches and buttons and console that you can click at will. Whenever I want to meditate deeply, I focus in the center of my brain on my pineal gland. Without any words, I bring my focus there. I locate where my focus is, and then I bring it outward within and focus on a single point. Bringing all my senses to that one point, even though most of my senses can't sense it, only with my sense of feeling a balance. But I bring it all all inward. And I don't need to even say in. It's just about localizing that. Creating my own emotional connection to what the pineal gland is and its abilities for me by using my senses. So that's another way you can engineer emotion, is through focusing of your senses and bringing them from without to within and wherever in your brain you want to bring them. But anyway, I've gone on for long enough. These motivational thoughts, I hope they're motivational, were to help you develop your own internal emotional language and not just some words that you can conjure up, though you might want to add words in there to inspire these things. But it isn't about words in the end, it's about feeling. Our most potent tool as a human race is passion for what we want to do. For passion leads to will, and will leads to actualization. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want to follow me on Patreon and just donate $1 a month, you'll get a little bit of extra content, some things that I write, plus notifications of my YouTube videos, and I put all my YouTube videos on there. And just for $1 a month, you can help support what I do and help me move forward. And create this channel into something that's even better than it is. Thank you very much for watching. Shoot that like button down there, and I hope to see all of you on my channel in the future.